Let's get you started on the first step, which is resetting your circadian rhythm. Now that you have your sleep hypnosis track and your beliefs are changing and your relationship to sleep is changing, now let's get into the weeds a bit. The first thing that we need to do is we get to track. And the two trackers that I would recommend at this moment are the Oura Ring and the BioStrap. The reason why I recommend these is because I think out of all the technologies, they seem to be the most accurate. These are both one-time purchases. This one is a bit cheaper than this one. This one is more low profile and goes on your finger. So if you like the ring, then this is the one for you. But if you work out with barbells, then this one is a better option because it will not get in the way. What these are gonna do is they're gonna give you insight to what is actually going on. And when we start to measure things, we can effectively manage them and we can know what we are doing, what levers we are pulling to make changes appropriately and to see the progress that we're actually making. Otherwise, we're just kind of guessing and we're just kind of swinging in the dark and hoping that things are working and making a difference. So I will put links to both of them down below. And I highly encourage you get one of them. It doesn't matter which one, just get something so that you can track effectively and you can know what is happening with your body. When we're talking about circadian rhythm, we need to introduce the idea of chronotypes, which basically means, are you a night owl or are you a early riser? And there are people who fall into the night owl category, and there are people who fall into the early riser category, and there are people who are hybrids, who are somewhere in between. And there are tests that you can take to find out which one you are, which I will link up below as well. But I want you to just think about, in your life experience, which one feels more natural to you? Are you more of an evening person or are you more of a morning person? And I think for most of you, it should be pretty clear. For the people in between, you might be, well, I could go both ways. There's been seasons of my life where I've been a morning person. There's been seasons of my life where I've been an evening person. It's important to get clear on where you're at in terms of that spectrum. This is gonna help you in the next step, which is setting the time that you're going to wake up and go to bed. It's going to be different for everyone. There's no one size fits all. There's no broad strokes when it comes to what is the perfect wake time and what is the perfect bedtime. Whatever you decide in terms of what time you're gonna wake up and go to bed, you must commit to that. That is part of one of the most important factors in setting your circadian rhythm, is that you go to bed at the same time and that you wake up at the same time. And the reason why the circadian rhythm is so important is because it's your internal clock. It will help you wind down for bed and it will help you wake up in the morning. As of now, I am not getting up with an alarm anymore because I have set my internal clock. I wake up when the sun rises at about 6:15, 6:30. Now, it's my opinion based on my research that you should go to bed before 12 a.m., even if you're a night owl, because there are certain functions and aspects of recovery that are happening at the earlier stages of the sleep cycle where you're gonna have more deep sleep, which is where a lot of biological functions are taking place during that part of the night. So with the circadian rhythm, we are working with these two chemicals, these two hormones, which are melatonin and cortisol. So melatonin is released when it's time to go to bed, and cortisol is released when it's time to wake up. And so when we set our circadian rhythm, which we will go into how to do that soon, we are going to program our body's hormones to release at a certain time, which helps regulate an obscene amount of bodily functions that help us operate, that optimize our energy, that help with digestion, that help with mood and cognition and all the different benefits that we get from getting great sleep. So it is essential that we decide on a time that we're going to wake up and go to bed, ideally before midnight, and we lock in on that time so that we can optimize our circadian rhythm and our hormone cycles so that our body can produce the chemicals that it needs and trigger the right biological signals to make everything work the way that we want it to work. So the way that I set my circadian rhythm and the way that you can set your circadian rhythm is by doing a 24-hour fast. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I'm not recommending that anyone do this without medical supervision, without talking to a medical professional, without getting clear on where you're at with your health, especially for women and especially people who are under a lot of stress and especially people who are really skinny. This can be very stressful on your system, and if you have problems with your hormones, it can mess with these things as well. So I want you to be very conscious about this process and definitely don't make any decisions without consulting a medical professional. However, in my experience, what I did is I did a 24-hour fast. And what that basically means is I'm not eating anything. All I'm doing is drinking water for 24 hours. So the best way that I found to do it is I will do a fast starting at dinner. All right, so I will eat my last meal of the day at, say, 6 o'clock, and then I will sleep through that night. I will go all the way to the next day, and I will eat dinner at 6 the next day. And what that does is it is basically clearing house, and it is telling my body that, hey, at 6 o'clock, that is dinner time, and that's the time to eat. And the following morning, I will have breakfast at the time that I want to program myself to eat breakfast at every morning. If you can't do a fast for health reasons, then try stopping eating at 4 o'clock and you do a little mini fast, a little intermittent fast, and then you have breakfast at the designated program time that you want to start having breakfast every morning. And meal timing becomes very important because it tells our body, it sends biological signals to say, this is when you're supposed to do this activity. And it gets into a rhythm, it gets into a groove, and our body really likes to be in a routine. So we want to do everything we can to maintain that routine and let our body know, hey, this is the time that this is supposed to happen. Now, if you can't even do that intermittent fast and you don't want to mess with that, I totally understand. What you can do is set a time that you are going to eat every morning, that you're going to eat at lunch, and that you're going to eat at dinner. We're going to do that eventually anyway, but get really clear on what those times are. And ideally, you don't want to eat 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. So the more space you create between the last time you eat and the time you go to bed, the better your sleep is going to be. But how you wake up is just as important, if not more important, than how you go to bed to creating amazing sleep results. I know a lot of people have problems waking up and have problems hitting the snooze button, and so I've got some solutions for you to make sure that that doesn't happen. There is an app called Alarmy, which I will link up down below, and when you download it, you can set it to basically scan a barcode in order to make the alarm go off. So you set the time that you want to get up, and the alarm will not go off until you scan a barcode. So let's say, for example, you have some oat milk in your fridge, right? And that's the barcode that you set to your alarm. When you wake up and the alarm is going off, you have to get your phone out and you have to go into the kitchen, scan the barcode on the oat milk, and then finally the alarm will go off. The idea is once you're up and you're in the kitchen, you're not going back to bed, you're not going to snooze your alarm, you're already up, right? For me, I always used to wake up really tired and I had a big problem with snoozing, but I used Alarmy to sort of jumpstart me, to get me started on this quest of being able to wake up really well. Once you're up, the first thing that you want to do, and this is the most important thing, the first thing that you do when you wake up is you want to go outside and you want to expose your body to sunlight. You want to, as much bare skin as you can expose to the sunlight, you want to do that. What that's going to do is it's going to wake your body up. You're going to have a biological reaction from the light from the sun. I always watch the sunrise. It's not hard on the eyes or anything because the sun has not yet fully come up, and it's a super peaceful experience for me. So what I do is I have a cup of hot water, which helps stimulate the digestive system, and I walk outside and I'll watch the sunrise as I listen to my self-hypnosis track. And so for you, the steps you want to take are get up, grab some water, whether it's hot or cold, go outside, expose your body to the sun. You want to do that for about 10 to 15 minutes. You want to drink your water, the more the better. 12 to 32 ounces is ideal. Then you want to do some type of light or gentle movement to wake up your nervous system, whether that's walking or stretching or doing some other light form of exercise. You want to wake up your system. All of these things are sending signals to your body that, hey, this is the time that I'm awake, this is the time to be up, and it's anchoring your nervous system to this is the time that I wake up. So just to recap, simple steps are you're going to get up, get some water, go outside, do some movement, okay? That is the most important part of waking up to help set your circadian rhythm. Just to wrap this up, we want to talk about meal timing really quickly. Now, this is going to be different for everyone considering your nutritional needs and your lifestyle and what you actually like, but I tend to eat breakfast about 90 minutes to 2 hours after I wake up. There's no science behind that for me. That's just what feels right. I go very intuitively by that. But whatever time that you are going to eat, you want to make it the same time. Again, sending more biological signals to our nervous system, to our body, to our biology that, hey, this is the time to be awake, this is the time to get the day started. You're going to want to do the same thing with lunch and dinner. It's all about creating these rhythms in our routine, in our body, that help regulate our system, which eventually will lead to amazing sleep. So that is programming your circadian rhythm. And that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.